And we're back on the Orange Brown Talk podcast, and we welcome Andrew Gillis, one of our Bengals beat reporters. You can find his work, of course, at cleveland.com/Bengals and on the Strictly Stripes podcast. We've been doing some crossover pods with them this week. If you missed those, go check them out. Andrew, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm very excited. It's an honor to be here.
Well, Andrew, we are going to start with the obvious. My goodness, what a game Joe Burrow is coming off of, and obviously honored as AFC Offensive Player of the Week. It seems like he is hitting his stride just in time for the big Halloween game. How's he doing? What's going so well?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the year, if you've paid attention to the Bengals throughout the beginning of through the first couple of weeks, even when they were winning, it didn't always look very clean. And one of the big things that was really kind of problematic for them was that opposing defenses were running a lot of cover two looks, a lot of too high looks where you throw two safeties back there, you force everything underneath. That was the reason I think why Joe Burrow was taking a lot of sacks. He was trying to wait for something magic to happen. He was trying to create things that that just weren't there. So that was kind of the problem early. Over the last few weeks, they've slowly settled into more of a rhythm. They almost exclusively operate out of the shotgun now. Against the Saints 2 weeks ago, they ran two plays. One was a quarterback kneel down. The other was a quarterback sneak under center. They only ran a handful of plays, and most of them came on the last drive against the Falcons. They've really kind of figured out who they are offensively. It's helped Burrow, and I mean, you see the results. I mean, he absolutely shredded the Falcons, and they've kind of understood now how they have to beat too high looks, and that's really kind of been the biggest problem for them. They've scored 30-plus points in the last 2 weeks, so their offense is kind of firing all cylinders right now.
Yeah, this transition to kind of more of a true spread with Burrow in the shotgun more often, just watching that Atlanta game, he looked like a point guard. Like he was just sitting in the pocket and just delivering the ball. Tyler Boyd had a big game early. Jamar Chase got going. Is that sort of what it looks like to you?
Yeah, the point guard's a really good way to put it, I think, because Tyler Boyd led them in receiving. And I said this on our podcast, Tyler Boyd, to me, the Bengals have talked for a few weeks about getting Tyler Boyd more involved and wanting to get him into the offense because he's not traditionally a slot receiver like you would think. Because everybody thinks of a slot receiver, okay, here's this 5'9", 5'10", speedy guy. Tyler Boyd's 6'2". Like when they utilize him in the offense, it's not strictly underneath as we saw in that first drive of the game where you throw the bomb. So when you get a guy like Tyler Boyd involved, to me, that's kind of a sign that the offense is kind of humming along, and they've just got so many weapons that Burrow really has an advantage wherever he throws on the field because Jamar Chase he's one of the best receivers in the NFL. And when T. Higgins is your number two, you really can't go wrong in that situation. So to me, their offense is just at a point where it's almost hard for them to screw up when Joe Burrow is on his game.
So obviously when we talk a lot about Joe Burrow, we talk a lot about that side of the football, but this defense has kind of quietly been really good this year.
Yeah.
What has made them so effective?
Yeah, you look at their defense and it's very weird because nobody on that defense strikes you as that's an all-pro player. You don't look at it and say, like Trey Hendrickson is a very good edge rusher. Sam Hubbard is a very good edge rusher. DJ Reader, who's out and he's probably not going to be back for the Browns game, which is big. But as a defensive tackle, you look at him, okay, he's a great run defender. Logan Wilson, great linebacker. You can go down the line and say, really good player, borderline Pro Bowl player, but they don't have an individual talent like a Myles Garrett or even like a Jadeveon Clowney, I don't think. But what they do so well is they are really, really good at playing within a system. And I think it's kind of, it sounds backwards, but I think it's almost benefiting them that you don't have a superstar that just goes and freelances because everybody's together and everybody knows the system so well. They've all been in the system for a few years. They haven't allowed a second half touchdown all year. I forget that it might be the 2000 Ravens, I think, or it was either the Ravens or the Titans that haven't allowed a second half touchdown this far into the season. So you're in pretty good company in that regard. Their defensive coordinator, Lou Anarumo, he talks a lot about allowing yardage is fine. Don't allow points. And it's worked. I mean, they've only allowed, I think, more than 24 points once this season. It was against the Saints. The Steelers line was even misleading because there was a pick six. Like they really, really shut teams down offensively. And I mean, if it wasn't for the defense, the team certainly wouldn't be 4-3, which is crazy to say when you're talking about the Bengals.
All right. So acknowledging that we're recording this on Wednesday, neither team has had any availability. We're still, I mean, technically our weeks haven't even started yet. So we're not going to completely hold you to this. I know folks are going to be hearing this on a Friday, but it was recorded on Wednesday. Your early pick for this game.
You want a score prediction or just a pick?
If you've got one.
All right, let's go for it. Why not? Life is for the bold. I'm going to pick Bengals 31, Browns 24. I think the Bengals are better. I just think that the weapons they have offensively just change the game so quickly, because against teams like the Browns that run the football, that can, you can suck the life out of a game if you have Nick Chubb in that offensive line. And that is what makes the Browns dangerous offensively,
All right, Andrew Gillis covers the Bengals for us. cleveland.com/Bengals. That's where you can find his work. Also, the Strictly Stripes podcast, just like the Orange and Brown Talk podcast, every single day they bring you Bengals content on Strictly Stripes. Sorry to say that 5 times fast. And so just go and get subscribed to that, just like you are to the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. Andrew, where can everybody find your work on Twitter?
Yeah, at Andrew_Gillis70. You'll find my tweets about the Bengals and maybe some college football takes about the BCS or whatever. So I hope you enjoy it.
Perfect. All right, we're going to take a break here. When we come back.